What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here for the start of Season 1 of the career mode on F1 2019. After going through Formula 2, we've now made it to the Formula 1 grid, and F1 2019 is going to be kick-started in Australia. We're in Toro Rosso for the first season of this career mode, and can't wait to get underway. After a difficult time in Formula 2, we're hoping that Formula 1 cars will be a bit easier for us to drive. Our first taste of a Formula 1 car was in this Friday practice session, so we're all fresh to this, so we're not as fast as we're hoping to be right now, and we've lowered the difficulty to 95 after being on 100 in Formula 2, but it might not be as good as we're hoping to be. Hopefully we'll see how we go on in the qualifying session. There you can see Devon Butler has signed on with McLaren. Lucas Weber, he's on with the Alfa Romeo team as well for this season, so interesting to see that. The McLaren is a bit of a better car on paper than the Alfa Romeo and the Toro Rosso. I think the Toro Rosso is 8th and the Alfa Romeo 9th. McLaren might be the 7th best car at the moment, but for some reason the Ferrari is the best car. But we're coming on to our first lap, and we're in P20 at the moment, and we're a bit down, and we go through the first sector and spinning right where Maldonado binned it a few years ago, and we're really struggling to get to the grips at the moment with these Formula 1 2019 cars. Just a real different kettle of fish to the F1 2018 cars, and we're really struggling at this point. Down in P19, Lucas Weber is behind us. We've set a new lap, and we're coming on to start a lap and to see where we can end up, if we can actually improve. Currently behind both the Williams cars, and coming out of the pits is Lando Norris, Devon Butler's teammate. He's not going to get out of the way for us. He's making it very difficult. He's forced us onto the grass, and we've come back on, hit him, and that's going to be our session over. I don't know what Lando Norris was doing there, but two rookies making their debut today, and both coming together in qualifying, and it's not going to be the ideal way we wanted to start this season. Currently in P19, looks like we're going to end the session there as well. Just really struggling to get to grips with this game at the moment. It's just, I don't know, it's just, we started on 100 and we're going to drop it to 95. And now it looks like we might end up dropping it again in Bahrain. As you can see from the qualifying results there, yeah, the McLaren did quite well. Devon Butler is up there in 12th. Two rookies joining the McLaren team there. There you can see Lucas Weber in the Sauber Alfa Romeo. We're down in P20 and last, so yeah, maybe we need to change the difficulty again. Alexander Albon, our teammate in P16, so Toro Rosso got two rookies, as have McLaren, so a lot of rookies coming onto the grid this season. Williams have got George Russell as well. So we'll head on into the race then for the first race of this career mode on F1 2019. I can't wait to get it underway. And, well, starting from P20, it can only improve our position from here. And let's see what we can do in the race then, as we start the race then for the F1 2019 career mode. And I'll let David Croft take over for me from now.
New drivers, new cars, it's a new Formula 1 season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that plays host to round 1 of a 21-race championship that takes us from here in Australia across the globe and the eventual season finale at the Yas Island circuit in Abu Dhabi. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with tweaks to the regulations, a fresh-looking spread of tyre compounds, and of course some changes to the roster of car manufacturers. It's goodbye to Sauber and hello once again to the classic name of Alfa Romeo in Formula 1. It's also goodbye to Force India. They've been rebranded as Racing Point. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2019 Formula 1 season is Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 5th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the performance of Red Bull, who have switched to the Honda Power Unit this year. What that will mean for both their performance and reliability remains to be seen.
It's time to see how our
So
drivers
let's go
are
on to the grid
stacking
then
up
for
after
the
yesterday's
first race of the
exciting
F1 2019 career mode. Who is on pole? It's Valtteri Bottas alongside Lewis Hamilton. So Mercedes 1-2 to kickstart their season. Pierre Gasly up there in P3, Verstappen P4, Vettel P5, Perez P6, Hulkenberg and Magnussen on row 4, and then Ricciardo and Grosjean. So Leclerc is 11th, Butler is 12th, Leclerc with a penalty. Norris and then Raikkonen, Stroll, Albon, Weber, Russell and Kubica, and ourselves at the back of the grid. And let's get on to the start of the race to start the season. And we'll go on to those 5 red lights then to start the first race of this career mode. And it's lights out and away we go. And it's a fairly sluggish start. George Russell getting a much better start than us. Everyone getting a much better start than us. 3 abreast, as you can see. Albon losing out almost there to Russell and Kubica. We spot the opportunity to go past and overtake perhaps Robert Kubica on the outside of turn 2, and he gets a better exit in the end. But now coming up to turn 3, we're going to dive bomb down the inside of several cars. Now side by side with Lucas Weber, our teammate from Formula 2, overtaking Russell, Albon and Kubica. So we're ahead of our teammate. Now we're hanging around the outside of turn 4 on Lucas Weber, and then we overtake him. We're up into P16. Lance Stroll's there. Can we nick him into turn 6? No, it doesn't look like it. Weber's still on the outside, so he's fighting back, and we force him out wide, and we keep on to P16. So we gained 4 places on the start then, and a superb start we needed to make after a disappointing qualifying. And now we can see if we can keep hold of this pack and whether we're going to fall back, because the difficulty is a bit too high for us at the moment. So now we've got Lucas Weber on the back of us. You can see the proximity arrow is getting closer and closer as we go through the S's, and we can see Lance Stroll now is our next target. We go over the bump there, a little bit of a corner cut, a little bit naughty, didn't get anything for it anyway. But now Lucas Weber is still on the back of us, and we're coming down to the end of this lap, end of lap 1, and you can see Lance Stroll is ahead of us. And now you can see the red proximity arrow. Lucas Weber is really close to us now, and yeah, a difficult few corners for us. It looks like Weber is really all over us like a plague. And now we come round the last corner. Valtteri Bottas leads after lap 1. Lucas Weber is going to be on us coming up to start and finish straight. Is he going to be able to make a move into turn 1? He's looking for it. He got a bit of slipstream there, going down the inside into turn 1. We're on the outside, he's on the inside. Can he get past? We hang it around the outside. Looks like Weber might have got us this time, and yeah, he's got past. So Weber is back into P16. We're down to P17, but are we going to be able to follow him and go down the inside into turn 3, diving down the inside? A huge dive bomb effort there, but we managed to make it stick, and we're ahead of Lucas Weber again. And don't know if we damaged a bit of front wing. Our front wing's okay. Risky move, but it was a move we wanted to make. We need to make these moves, and we go back to the replay of the start. And here we go. We've just a poor start. There's both the Williams in front of us. You can see Valtteri Bottas leading the way. Everyone taking the racing line. It's not what you would see. Still the starts aren't perfect on this game like they are in real life. But here we are then coming up to turn 3. Diving past Robert Kubica and everyone else. You can see Albon and Russell, Lucas Weber behind his teammate Kimi Raikkonen, Lance Stroll losing out to Raikkonen, looks like it was there, hanging it round. Lucas Weber on turn 4, and then towards turn 5. We're on the inside, and it looks like at this point we got past him, but he fights back going towards turn 6. So we get held up a bit by Stroll, but he ends up having to lose out there, and then we got the end of the lap. Lucas Weber catching us up. And you can see Leclerc's made up a few places as well up there. But that's going to be the highlights of lap 1. So we made up 4 places. If we move on to the end of lap 2, towards lap 3, you can see we're looking a bit closer to Lance Stroll now. So it looks like there's a train of cars in front of us, led by Lance Stroll's teammate Sergio Perez. So we're on lap 3, and we're actually managed to keep hold of the pack in front of us for the time being. So this is good news for whether our difficulty is good enough to match our skill level at the moment, because we're just not used to this game yet. So 95 AI, which is legend AI still, but it's okay. We're having a fairly good start, and we're keeping hold of Lance Stroll. It looks like Sergio Perez may have a problem or something with his car, because he's holding everyone up, including his teammate. And it looks like we've actually pulled away a little bit from the pack behind us, which is George Russell, who's in P17. So Lucas Weber's fallen back a little bit. So maybe Weber's got a bit of damage from a little collision we had earlier. But that's not good news for him in the Alfa Romeo. Kimi Raikkonen, he's got an experienced teammate to partner him in the Alfa Romeo, so that's good news for Weber to have a teammate like that. We've got an inexperienced teammate of Albon behind us as well, so the 2 new rookies with everything looking to prove themselves on the grid in this season as we get closer now, you can see Devon Butler, our rival from F2, the F2 champion, coming around the last couple of corners. You can see Lance Stroll, we look about making a move down the inside of Lance Stroll into the final corner, penultimate corner, and Lance Stroll still on the inside, so we've managed to take P15, but is Lance Stroll going to take it back? And it looks like he has. It was an ambitious move. Luckily, none of us had any front wing damage. Now, George Russell's caught up to this pack as well, which just says how slow the Sergio Perez in the racing point is going. And I think one of the Hasses has managed to get past him as well. And George Russell's looking interested in us as well now. So maybe we've flattered ourselves a bit too much. And with the Williams is catching us up, then maybe that's probably the true pace of our car and the true pace of ourselves, because Russell is now keeping hold of us. So Sergio Perez is going really slowly at this stage. And we go to our engineer, box this lap. We're going to make the undercut. We're due to pit on lap 5 anyway. We expect that's when everyone else is going to be due to pit. But we don't know that yet. As we come around to the next few quarters, they're actually pulling away from us a little bit now, but that's because we have lowered the ERS mode. And I've noticed one thing on this game is that the ERS is actually a lot harder to control than it was on 2018. It actually felt a lot. You could actually get more out of the ERS on 2018 than you could on 2019. You'll really have to nurse the ERS on here, and we're going to have to look for upgrades as soon as possible to help give us more boost and more battery from the engine. And that's going to be something we need to look out for on this car. With the worst engine on the grid at the moment, unless there's a day one patch at all. I'm not sure what's going to be happening yet, but we come around the last few corners. We're going to be boxing this lap, see if we can get an undercut. There's a fair few cars. There's about 5 or 6 cars here in front of us, and we're now going to be boxing, and hopefully we can get ahead of a few of them as well. We engage the pit limit. It's the first time we've actually pitted on this game as well, so we slowed down a bit too much probably there. We didn't really know where the our speed was at the time as we come into the pits to put on these medium tyres now, and yellow medium tyres. It's going to be, I know I'm going to be making a few mistakes and calling them softs at some point in this career mode, but we come out of the pits and we get the power down early, and now we've got to make sure these tyres can last towards the end of this race, and hopefully we can get an undercut on the guys in front. And we've got some clean air as well, so hopefully we won't be any dirty air. We can just push as hard as we can, and we come around to the next lap then, and no one has actually pitted on lap 5 anyway. So if we pit on lap 5, we'd have got an undercut on the guys in front of us. But on lap 5, we've got another lap to push these tyres. Whether we can actually get an undercut working or not is another question. But we come out of turn 1, and we're P20 still. And now coming on to lap 7. Now we've got a few people in the pits until lap 7. So it's taken them. It looks like they don't really like the medium tyres for some reason, but they can see Kubica to our right. So Kubica's managed to get an overcut on us, and there's Perez in front of us, and Albon as we collide with Kubica as well. So coming out of the pits, Kubica, we've had a little coming together with Kubica. I don't know what happened there. He was coming out of the pits. We were going to take our racing line, and we've had a little incident with Robert Kubica in our first race. Here's a replay. Is it a racing incident? Whose fault here? We cut across him a little bit. He's coming out of the pits though, so it's a bit of a difficult one. Here's the view from Kubica's view, and it's difficult to say. I personally think it was a racing incident, but there you can see Kubica's having to return to the track, and that's not going to be very good news for him. And you can't really see us on the onboard here, so he's almost blindsided there, and disappointing there for Kubica and myself. Not an incident you really want to have, but again, a racing incident I think it was. We didn't get a penalty for it. Moving on to lap 8, we're actually behind Alexander Albon. So we're behind our teammates, so Albon's managed to overcut us, and Perez is actually behind us. So Perez is the only one we've actually managed to undercut here, because he's got a problem with his car. Kubica's behind us as well, so P18. There's a few more cars coming out of the pits this lap, so we'll see where they end up. We'll come around the final corner of this lap. We've got DRS open. We want to get DRS open now. Can we get close enough to Alexander Albon to make a move? You can see the cars coming out the pits to our right. Raikkonen's there. There's another car in front of us. It looks like it's Lance Stroll. So Lance Stroll's held up Alexander Albon nicely there for us. We got DRS open, and now we're really close enough to make a move on Alexander Albon, going down the inside into turn 3, and we're going to make it stick surely down the inside of our teammate. We're up into P15. So perfect for us. We're now ahead of our teammate. That's all we want to do, is be ahead of our teammate at this point. We're both rookies, both new to this, and we need to get ahead of him as quickly as possible, and well, just prove that we got the talent in this sport, And now we've got Lance Stroll ahead of us, who was, well, he's just seen the rear of that car for so much of this race so far. We've got the first few laps really, and now we can see whether we can close up to him and overtake him, or whether he's going to pull off into the distance, because he's not been held up by his teammate anymore. So we'll see how that happens in the next few laps. It looks like he's getting away actually, so we've done well to get in front of Alexander Albon. He really helped us there, he really done bits for us there to get in front of Alexander Albon, our teammate. And coming through the S's, we're actually quite close to him getting DRS. Can we actually pull off a move on Lance Stroll? We're looking close to him now. DRS is open and we're not close enough to think about making an overtake. Raikkonen is now up to P16, so Raikkonen's got past Alexander Albon. But we've managed to get ahead of Raikkonen in the pits as well, so that's ideal, that's not too bad. And we've come around the last few corners now, we're in P15. There's still another car in the pits, I think it might be Lucas Weber. And there's a McLaren coming out of the pits as well. I'm not sure which McLaren that is, but we're coming across the line. We're in P14 I think now. There's Weber pits and Raikkonen's behind us. So that's good. Not too bad for us at the moment, and you can see a few cars ahead of us there. It looks like both the McLarens of Norris and Butler. And moving on to lap 13, Raikkonen's ahead of us now, and with just a few laps left to go. Raikkonen's engine's gone kaput right in front of us, and that's slowed us down quite a lot. There's a battle going on in front of us, and we are not able to catch up with those guys now. And now Perez is on all over the back of us with just 2 laps to go, and we've just got to bring it home. Raikkonen's out of the race, so we're back into P14. We missed the overtake with Kimi Raikkonen overtaking us, but we've got Lando Norris ahead of us in P13, so 14th place. After our first race, we started in P20, so we've gained 6 places so far in this race, and that's not going to be too bad of a way to start this career mode. The Toro Rosso is not that good of a car, but of course the AI are a bit too good for us at the moment, so we've done quite well considering how slow we are compared to the AI to get into this position. I think they will be lowered going into Bahrain, probably to 90. I think 90 might just be good enough for us right now. Don't really want to lower it down too much, I just want it to be high as possible really, because on F1 2018 it was on 102, and it could have easily made it higher a little bit on the last game, but I'm sure we'll get to that sort of difficulty eventually. Just need a bit more practice on this game, and I'm sure we'll be able to have a higher difficulty very, very shortly. But for now, I'm going to have to lower it to 90 with just 1.5 laps to go. We've got Sergio Perez, and you can see the proximity arrow. Can we keep hold of P14? And we cross the chicane again. We're just really struggling with the understeery part of this game now. It's so understeery, the cars. Particularly this Toro Rosso, it's not really that good of a car to drive at the moment. We need to add some upgrades. As you can see, we're just understeering. Really struggle with the understeer to come around the last couple of corners of this lap. To start the final lap of this race and see whether we can stay in P14 on this first race of the season. It's gone better than the Formula 2 has, that's for sure. And you can see actually there's a Williams behind Sergio Perez, so that must be George Russell. Kubica spun off a few laps to go. So yeah, perhaps the difficulty does need to be lowered. Alexander Albon's nowhere to be seen either, so I don't know why that is. He must have had a bit of an issue as well. And you can see we come up to turn 3, and Sergio Perez is not close enough to think about overtaking. Lando Norris is still ahead of us, fighting with his teammate, I believe, over there, and he's not actually pulling off into the distance too badly, so our pace is okay. I think Australia is a bit of a difficult track with the AI. I think it was on F1 2018, so who knows. We'll have a look in the first few practice sessions of Bahrain, and then we'll see whether we need to lower it. But Sebastian Vettel has won the race, and that's good news for him. So Ferrari looking fairly good, unlike in real life. So who knows? He started 5th actually, so it was a Mercedes 1-2 at the start. So good race for Vettel, starting from P5. But Perez is behind us, and Russell's now overtaking him. So George Russell's up into P15. We run wide on the chicane, and we've just come around the last few corners now, and surely it's going to be P14 to end this race. And this is okay. This is not too bad. And wow, we're running wide again. So Russell's getting interested. He's almost thinking about overtaking, but we're making more mistakes. And these tyres are a little bit gone off now. We were the earliest pit stop, of course, so Russell on much fresher tyres, and he'll come around the last corner to end the race. Then is it going to be P14? Is Russell going to be able to overtake us before the line? No, we do manage to stay in P14 in the end, so not a bad first race for us, and we'll take the car home now. So P14 after the first race. Can still improve, I think. Hopefully in the next few races we'll be able to get some more upgrades to the car. We've managed to add a few upgrades before this race anyway, so we're not so happy with Vettel winning. We haven't seen that a lot in F1 2019 real life, but yeah, here we go. Vettel lifting the trophy and Leclerc finishing second from 11th. So Leclerc's done bits there. He's done a fantastic job for himself. Hamilton in P3. So Bottas, the pole sitter in the end, is not even on the podium. So Bottas has had a mare this race as we end the race there. So Bottas is P4. I did get the fastest lap though, so he's going to have 13 points. Gasly's 5th, Verstappen 6th, Hulkenberg, Magnussen and Ricciardo and Grosjean. So only 5 teams actually getting in the points. So Renault, Haas, and then it's just 5 teams in the points. So McLaren, Racing Point, Toro Rosso and Williams and Alfa Romeo all missing out. So yeah, that's probably the best thing we could want. It's actually, that's not actually too bad of a problem for us. And there you can see the constructors, Ferrari leading away from Mercedes and Red Bull. And then you can see Renault and Haas all getting points as well. So perfect start for Ferrari, and good start for Renault and Haas as well, getting points. But that's going to be the end of the episode today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stay tuned for more episodes of this career mode. We're going to be going to Bahrain next, and then we'll see what happens from there. But like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you guys soon for round 2 in Bahrain. Episodes will be every 2 days, so come on, check it out.